Hi, my name is Arielle Karni. I'm 17 years old and a rising senior in high school. I worked on this project with my mentor, Sage Morrison. I live in Livingston, New Jersey, and this project is of specific interest to me because I intend to pursue a degree in neuroscience. Anxiety affects over 300 million people worldwide, and treatments usually focus on therapy or medication. But what if the body already had its own built in anxiety remedy? My research asks, can endorphins, the body's natural opioids or feel good hormones, help alleviate anxiety? And under what conditions? I chose this topic because I've seen a striking difference in my brother's physical anxiety symptoms before and after engaging in sports. I wanted to understand the neurochemistry behind this so that I could encourage effective anxiety management strategies for him. And this picture depicted on the right is a picture of endorphin activation inside of the brain. What are endorphins? The word endorphin comes from endogenous morphine. These are neuropeptides produced mainly in the pituitary gland and hypothalamus, which, as you can see, there's an image of the pituitary gland right there. And it is a region, they're both regions of the brain. They're released during stress, pain, and especially exercise. Once in the brain, endorphins lower stress hormones, calm the heart rate, and quiet the amygdala, the brain's fear center. Essentially, they're the body's natural stress relievers, and that is the chemical makeup of an endorphin above. Neurobiology of anxiety. Before we see how endorphins help, it's highly important to understand the actual neurobiology of the disorder. Anxiety involves an overactive amygdala, which, as we defined previously, is the brain's fear center, which sends signals that trigger the body's stress response. The prefrontal cortex, which normally regulates these fear signals, can become less effective, while the hippocampus, which helps process memories, can exaggerate threat perception. This imbalance leads to increased heart rate, elevated cortisol, which we'll define soon, restlessness, and a constant feeling of tension. Understanding these circuits helps explain why endorphins, which calm the amygdala and reduce stress hormones, can be so effective in managing anxiety symptoms. And depicted on the right is an image of the brain under stress and how it actually goes through this structural remodeling and the different regions which we discussed. How do endorphins reduce anxiety? Endorphins counteract both physical and chemical symptoms of anxiety. Physically, they reduce rapid heartbeat, restlessness, and muscle tension. Neurochemically, they quiet overactive brain circuits and regions by reducing norepinephrine and cortisol, which we'll define soon, while boosting dopamine and serotonin. This creates a measurable shift towards calm, which is why exercise often makes people feel better after stress. And we are going to define this connection between endorphins and exercise also very soon. So, as I said, what we were going to define before, these are the key neurotransmitters involved in anxiety and anxiety regulation. So, the first one is norepinephrine, which is a stress chemical, which makes you alert and anxious. Cortisol, which is the body's key stress hormone, which raises heart rate and tension. Dopamine, which is coined the happy chemical, which boosts both motivation and pleasure. And serotonin, which is the calm chemical and stabilizes mood and reduces worry. How endorphins reduce cortisol via the HPA axis. Let's take a closer look at how endorphins reduce cortisol, the stress hormone, via the body's central stress response system called the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or the HPA axis for short. When someone is stressed, the hypothalamus reduces CRH, which signals the pituitary gland to release ACTH. ACTH then signals the adrenal glands to release cortisol. Endorphins are also produced in the pituitary gland and respond to CRH because they share the same precursor protein, POMC, When beta endorphin levels rise, they can suppress the HPA axis through negative feedbacks. Endorphins inhibit both CRH and ACTH release, which thereby reduces cortisol secretion. These interactions quiet many parts of the nervous system and help the body reach a calmer state, which is why endorphins are so effective in managing anxiety disorder. The role of exercise. One of the strongest natural ways to increase endorphins is through exercise. Moderate to high intensity aerobic activity for at least 20 minutes triggers a significant release. Research shows that exercise induced endorphins reduce anxiety symptoms, but they work best when combined with other treatments like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, or pharmaceutical interventions such as medication. Gender differences. Gender also plays a role in this highly multifactorial disorder. Men and women have similar baseline endorphin levels, but hormonal cycles affect production. Estrogen can enhance endorphins while progesterone suppresses them, meaning women may experience fluctuating anxiety relief across their menstrual cycle. Men, on the other hand, typically show stronger endorphin response to exercise. And then the image depicted on the right are the hormones testosterone and estrogen. So, are endorphins enough? My conclusion is that endorphins alone are not as sufficient. They're not a sufficient standalone treatment for anxiety, but they are a powerful, accessible tool, especially through exercise that can be combined with other treatments to enhance outcomes. In short, endorphins aren't the entire cure. They're definitely an essential piece of the anxiety treatment puzzle. Thank you. So, the next time you're stressed, consider that your brain already has the medicine waiting, endorphins. Sometimes the simplest step, like a 20-minute run, can calm both your mind and your body. Thank you for listening. I'm Arielle Karni, and I couldn't have done this project without guidance from my mentor, Sage Morrison.